So today's live is mainly dedicated to Women's Day, and it's all about chatting to the women out there. And being you, being a woman, what does it mean? What does it take? One another and drawing strength from each other, so that we can conquer, we can go ahead. I'm looking forward to sharing a bit of my story and also sharing how do I do it. So I think on Friday I was sitting in a session, and where we're sharing stories, we're sharing our side hustles, and how do we really motivate women out there, to be the best of themselves. And in that session, I thought, what, maybe this is the time for me to kind of share my story and to share my experience, because there's probably other people out there who are going through the same thing. But you know what? Because you're alone and you're in your corner and you don't hear of the stories often, and you're starting to feel like you're a failure, you're starting to feel like you're dramatic, because people will be, saying those things to you, and you start, taking these things and making it who you are, because you start believing in those things out there, and before you are anybody else, before you are a girlfriend to somebody, before you are a sister to your siblings, before you're a daughter to your mother, before you are a colleague to your colleagues at work, before you are a what do you call them, your cheerleader at church or a worship team member at church, you are you. And what does it mean to be you? What does it mean to be you? And when do you really get the time to be you? Do you really spare yourself time to be you? And if you don't, what are the consequences of those things? Because a lot of times as women, firstly, as a mother, let's start there. If you're a mother, everything that you do, is motivated and devoted to your kids or to your child if you have one. You find yourself that, the things that you used to do for yourself in the past, you can't do anymore. And solely because, you've got a change of priorities. You start prioritizing your kids more than you are prioritizing yourself. And you start to find out that as soon as you get into marriage or you get into a serious relationship, now you start looking at your partner's best interest more than yours. You are more easily to compromise and to meet someone else halfway. Even if it's not halfway, you can go further to make sure that the next person is happy and the next person is having the best of their life. But really, what does it take for you? What does it take from you? And how do you make sure that whatever gap is there in your life, you don't, there's a refill, that there's a point where you sit and you rejuvenate yourself, because you cannot give away if you are empty. You can only give an access of what you have. But a lot of the times we find ourselves giving to an extent that we get empty. And what happens when you are empty? A lot of things can happen. You draw into darkness, you draw into depression, you draw into losing yourself. You now start to forget who you are. The things that you used to do before, the smallest things that you used to like buying yourself ice cream, the fact that you loved chocolate, because you have all these priorities and you have all these people who have their expectations around you. People are expecting you to be perfect. People are expecting you to be, phenomenal. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only challenge with that is that it can't be every day's expectations, because you are human. You are you before you can be someone else. And before you can give anybody and provide people's expectations, you have to meet your expectations as a person, as a human. And what does that mean, guys? It means that you have to make time for yourself. And what does making time for yourself mean? It means that immediately when you start feeling your body getting fatigued, immediately when you start having those headaches, immediately when you start having those backaches, immediately when you start having, that constant flu that doesn't want to go away, it's because your body and your system is trying to tell you that you are doing too much, you're expecting too much, you are taking away too much, you are giving away too much, because too much of everything kills. You give to an extent that you don't even have anything for you. So it means that you need self-love, self-care. It's very important. It is very important. Sometimes